Hey, welcome to our West Harlem Way little chat tonight, and we've got Keith and Ian with us again. So, thanks, guys. Thanks for giving up your time, and we can have a little chat. And we've also got a couple of guests that we're going to bring on in a few minutes as well. But we thought it might be fun just to meet together and see how many join us. I'll also put it out on Facebook, YouTube tomorrow, and there's a podcast in case people can't get it. So maybe to start with, guys, we can just say how things are going for us. So Ian, do you want to start? I've got your time. The first leg took you 10 hours, 5 minutes and 41 seconds. And I know you've had to walk most of it, haven't you?
I've had to walk all of it, so I'm not running at all. So I just had a look at the results and I see after that I'm currently sitting 913th place. But it's been interesting doing it walking because it takes so long. And I mean, the way I've done it so far, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I did one decent walk. My long one on Saturday, I did 20 miles. Left the house, did a 10k loop round Arthur's Seat and back here in Edinburgh. And that took me 5 hours, 36 minutes. It's a long day out. If I've been running that, it's been a lot easier. Today I've tried a sort of different strategy and I've been out 3 times today to get up to 10 miles. So I think I'm up to 46 miles now. Yeah.
Right. And how about you, Keith? I thought initially you were going to do the relay, weren't you? But I see that you're in the solo now.
Yeah, when we did the chat the other week, I was going to be in a relay team, but then I was with Mike Johnson, who I was going to be supporting this year. It was his first race, and as I might have said at the time, he'd supported me many times on my races, and Matt Stoner was the other person. Anyway, Mike, I was reviewing the entries a week ago, and I saw Mike had gone solo, and so I was like, I swore repeatedly, and I sent him some notes, but as it's turned out, it's been absolutely magic, because even when I said I was part of a team of 3, I was always, it was actually your comment, John, the other week when you said, you're looking forward to being out there and doing it, and I'm so glad I'm doing the solo at the moment. So yeah, at the moment I've had to crunch a couple of days because I've got, as I said at the time, I've got my son with me at the moment, so I can't do an awful lot of miles at the moment. So I'm actually probably just entering Rannoch Moor. So I'm really looking for it's a bonny night tonight. The typical. Actually, what time is it? I've been on Rannoch Moor about this time during the race, and it's absolutely magic. You get that still air and the views forever. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. Like Ian, I've had a couple of decent days. I had a 30 miler on Saturday around I did the 7 Hills of Edinburgh, plus added in bits. So slow, but it's been really good so far.
Yeah, excellent. And I think your time for the first leg was exactly 9 hours and 56 seconds. So you're so you're plodding away well.
Luckily, I did the second. I did a half marathon last night with Norman Duncan, and I crunched that. I did a little bit quicker on that one, so hopefully my time will come down a little bit. But it's not going to be a quick day. Yeah, a quick race.
Yeah. And if anyone is watching us live and you've got a question that you'd like to ask either of us or any of us, then feel free. And if you want to leave a comment in the box, then I can bring those onto the screen as well. The thing, I've done 4 runs so far, and I've just really enjoyed them. I've done most of them up on the Gleniffer Braes, which is an area which I love running. It's like a little mini West Harlem Way up there. You know, you've got a bit of everything, so it's been really fun. But the question I wanted to ask both of you is, has it made a difference to the way that you're running or what you're doing, knowing that you are part of this race? Because presumably we're doing the same things that we did the week before and the last 12 weeks, but does it feel different being part of this virtual West Harlem Way race?
I think for me it definitely does. I doubt I would have been going out and doing anything like the distance that I'm doing. It's very much down to the fact it's a challenge. I wanted to be part of it. I don't often get a chance to be part of this race, part of the competing in this race and getting that time. So it was quite nice to do that. So it's definitely got me out the door. And I was thinking yesterday, I thought, oh my goodness, trying to fit in 27 miles next 3 days. I'm working all 3 of these days. It's going to be quite tricky. But I think just changing that strategy to do 4 miles this morning, 2.5 at lunchtime, and 3.5 after I finish work tonight, and it's got me to 10 straightforward. So definitely got me out and about.
Yeah, same as me. I mean, I wouldn't have, no way I would have done 60 odd miles in 4 days. Yeah, no, it's been absolutely brilliant just to kick myself in the backside, you know. You often make excuses. I made excuses the other week, said I'll only do the half marathon, only do the relay. But yeah, it's been and it's been great watching the people that have joined in. I've been loving watching the thing on Facebook.
Yeah.
That to me has been the best bit. It's these teams that are joining up, and it's we've been support crew for ages, and we're part of it, and yeah, it's really spurred me on as well, you know. And yeah, it's hard. It's taking us out of our comfort zone. But then you realise, hang on a sec, I used to do this. I could do this in a day or whatever, in 35 hours. Stop whinging, you know. Yeah, it's been a good. I think it's been just what I've needed anyway.
Yeah, it was funny.
I think it's definitely changed, John. It's definitely changed for me. Another thing that normally by the time we get to this part of the race week, all the questions are done and people are just getting on with their planning.
Yeah.
I've never had as many emails in the race week because nobody's very sure how it works. So there's all sorts of emails coming in. Questions about. I even get somebody even asked me if they were allowed to do it in their bike. Which, I think there was a no to that one.
Yeah, it's funny. I found on Saturday I did 20 miles, and that was probably a little bit longer than I've done over the last 3 or 4 months. But I really enjoyed it. But then on Sunday I did 9 miles, and I didn't go till 3:30 in the afternoon, and I was thinking, my legs are going to be a little bit sore, and they were a bit. But the motivation to push the pace was quite funny. You know, I thought, I know people are going to be looking and seeing what I do, so I can't hang around here. I need to work as hard as I could, so it definitely helped me. There's a few comments coming in. Someone's doesn't have their name on, but said, first ever virtual race and loving every minute. And all the posts from runners is keeping me going, which is just what Keith said there. And then John Cassidy said, I'll bring that on. Yeah. Has everyone found a new place to walk, a trail they've never been on before? I'm having a great adventure finding new places to run. And I think that's true of a lot of people, isn't it? You know, people are finding new places to go.
I loved Carl. Have you seen Carl Ziners today?
Yes.
How he ran he ran 30 miles around all the streets within his within 1 kilometre of his house. I was like, go on.
I know. It looks great, doesn't it? And then I see Noni left a comment saying he missed out a couple of roads.
Yeah.
So yeah. John also said, I've ran loads of stuff I didn't know existed on my doorstep. It's been magic. Okay, so what I thought we'd do now is obviously we're in the middle of the field and near in the back, but I thought it'd be quite interesting to bring on someone who's at the top end of the race. And so I'm going to bring in Richie. So hi Richie, this is Richie Harkins, and Richie has done the first 36 miles in 3 hours 59:25, which is good going. And so I thought it'd be fun just to sort of chat to you, Richie, and find out a little bit about your plans. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are, and what made you want to do the West Highland Way race, this virtual race.
Well, I'm in Irvine in Ayrshire. I seen it on Facebook through friends, and I decided to enter because obviously most of my races have been cancelled. And it was basically because one of the boys, one of our Ayrshire Dad's group, he recently passed away, and it was his idea to run the West Highland Way over 3 days. So I thought I would do him proud and try and honour him and do this race. That's what's been keeping me in my head every day, every time I've been out in the pain cave. But so it was basically to honour him. That was the main reason why I wanted to do the race.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, Richie, when I saw your time go up, I think it was on Sunday maybe you put it up.
Yeah.
And I thought, 3 hours 59. That means you're running at sub 3 hour marathon pace, and I was thinking, well, how'd you do that? So I must admit, I had a little look on your Strava, And I've just put it up on the screen. So this is your run 1, leg 1. You did 12.01 miles in 1:20.35. So that was 6:43 pace. And then your second run was again 12 miles in 1:20. And then your third run was 12 miles in 1:18. So 6:33 pace. So has that been your tactic then? Obviously to run 3 12-mile runs pretty well flat out on a flattish course.
Yeah, basically I had a plan before it, and thought I could try and hammer it every day, just run as fast as I could every day. Obviously try and pace myself, but it's worked out quite well until today when I done it again. When I'm starting to feel it a wee bit. It's only done 10 mile today, but I'm going to go back out tonight and do another 3 mile. And try and finish off this leg tomorrow by doing a half marathon, but quite tired today, to be honest. See how that goes tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah. Had you thought about maybe, instead of running 12 miles, had you thought about maybe doing 2 6-mile runs? One in the morning, one in the evening, and try and run them faster?
Yeah, it's just trying to get the time to do that, obviously, because I work and family and stuff, but I'm thinking in the next couple of I might try that. I might try it tomorrow. Maybe do 1 in the morning and 1 at night and see how that goes.
Yeah, and there are a few people ahead of you. There's a few people who are 15, 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes ahead. So you've got a little bit of ground to make up.
I'm going to try and up the pace tonight actually and see how that goes. But I've still got a long way to go, so.
Yeah, but has it definitely been a motivation for you to try and to get as high up that leaderboard as you can?
Definitely. When it comes to a race, it's I'm always competitive. So to see the names and it definitely pushes you on.
Excellent. Ian, Keith, have you got a question you'd like to ask Richie?
No, I mean, I've wanted to see somebody do that. Actually, I like I like the way you're doing it. And I thought for a moment, no, I never thought that I could do that sort of pace at all. But I wondered if I'd adopted that strategy, what would my best time be? Would I be able to crack a sub 20, for example? As it turns out, at the moment, I'm not running very quickly, regardless of the distance. So it wasn't for me, but. Yeah, I really like the way you're cracking on about that. I mean, so you're basically not doing any. You're basically it's flat. I mean, you said you're living in urban, so you don't really have an awful lot of options for that, do you?
No, I've not got any options anyway. I prefer to do it in the trails, but I made the decision to just try and run it as fast as I could.
Yeah.
So that was the main reason. I think the most I'm getting is like 300 feet elevation.
I'd love to see your net elevation at the end of the race and just see what it is,
Yeah.
I think more than 1,000, a couple of thousand.
Good stuff.
Ian, were you trying?
Ian.
I can't hear you, Ian. Yeah, I think Ian's trying to ask a question, but he's.
I muted us.
Oh, there we go. You've muted. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a noise in the background.
Yeah.
There we go. Richie, I was going to ask you, what were your targets for this year, racing-wise, going to be? What were you hoping to do?
I had my first 50k. I had like the Ring of Steel as well. I was going to do that at the Salomon race, and some like small local hill races. And last year it was my first year of competitive running. I done road running. So this year I thought. I found the trails in the mountains, and I wanted to keep in that. Yeah, I had like the Arm Skyline race as well. I wanted to see how that would go. I prefer running on the.
Very good.
But obviously, when everything cancelled, I just went back to just the road running. I done a marathon. I got a PB in my marathon, and then I tried a 30 mile and then a 50k. And I seem to prefer the ultra and the long distance. It suits me better. And I felt good doing the 50k. I felt fine after it.
Good stuff. And do you see yourself do the full West Highland race one year?
Yeah, 100%. My coach Scott Brown, he's done it, and I always remember watching him doing it. And I thought I want to do that. That's something that I really want to do. So that's in the future.
Yeah. There's a question that's come on, not necessarily for Richie, but I think it'd be worth just saying. This person's actually reduced their daily mileage in order to run this race with their mate, and I'm finding it strangely difficult, both physically and mentally. Stick the word race into the mix, and it all goes to pot. What's that all about? Good fun though. And I was just thinking for you, Richie, as you know, obviously you've set out to do a race, to race it. So is that very much at the forefront of your mentality when you set out to run?
Yeah. Every time I go out running, if I start to feel myself coasting, I remember this is a race, and I start telling myself it's a race, so it keeps pushing me on, especially when I'm starting to feel the pain in the last couple of miles. Definitely, it's a race to me. It's nothing else. Yeah.
And at this stage, have you got a target in mind that you'd like to do the 95 miles in?
I've more like a to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm not quite sure. I didn't work out your average pace at the moment. If you were able to keep that going, you've done 36 miles in 4 hours. So Keith, you're good at maths, aren't you? What would that be?
9 miles an hour.
9 miles an hour.
So that's getting just under 11 hours, isn't it? 10 and a half.
10 and a half, 11 hours. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's your target.
All right.
Yep. There's your target. 11 hours is one target, and if you have a really good 10 and a half will be your gold. Yeah. Okay, we've got a couple of questions coming in, but I'll bring these on afterwards. Anything else you'd like to share, Richie, about what your plans are for the next few days and how you plan to tackle it?
Just going to try and manage just the recovery every day, and just try and get a lot of rest, and just to see how the runs maybe go in the morning and night. I'll try that one day, or I'll go back to the kind of longer runs. But I'm starting to feel quite tired today, so as long as I get enough rest and sleep, I should be all right. I should be able to finish strong.
Yeah. Have you planned a rest day between now and Sunday?
I'm going to try and finish. I'm going to try and do a half marathon tomorrow, or split into two, and then I'll rest Thursday.
Okay.
And go again Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Well, we'll be following your progress very closely, and if people are on Strava, then you can see Richie on Strava, and you can see what he's doing and see his runs. So thanks so much, and enjoy your run tonight, and we'll have a look what you do. Okay. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay, and maybe before we bring our next guest on, we'll just bring I'll bring this question up, and we can have a look at this. Basically, the name's on coming up, so I'm not quite sure who this is. Saying, I'm an occasional 5k runner due to dodgy knees, age 54, and after my ultra smasher wife Sue entered, and a cluster of the wee county Harrier Club, I madly entered. Today I knocked out a slow half marathon followed by a 4-mile walk, and this after a series of longer runs, 9-10 miles. I would never be able to run the real race, but I've supported other runners. So this virtual race provides a unique opportunity to feel more part of the race and get a sense of the glory. I'm 63 miles in already, and if on Thursday Nicola allows us to meet up with others, we're hoping to have a wee party on Saturday night with other runners. I did a Club La Santa 4-day running challenge a few years ago, but this is much more challenging. Well done the team putting it together and allowing everyone to take part. So there you go. And I think that's one of the things that we've all enjoyed, haven't we? That there's been a number of people who have taken part in this who maybe feel they couldn't do the whole race in a oneer, and yet it's given them a chance to be part of it. And as Keith was saying earlier, you know, you look on Facebook and you read all the little comments. It's been really good. So I would imagine for you, Ian, as the race director, that must give you a lot of encouragement as well, does it?
I think it's been great to see. I think just the fact that we've been able to have well over 1,000 people take part in the event, something we've never been able to have that before because of the constraints in the course. So that's really nice. It's really nice to get all these people involved. I was laughing saying it's someone did 5k because I think this is quite a hard challenge. It's still quite a lot of mileage every day to put in, John Monroe described it in a message to me beautifully. He said he thinks he's really enjoying this too. And he said this is like the marathon for grown-ups. That's how he described it.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we've got another guest, and I thought I'll just bring her onto the screen now. So, welcome, Lourdes. I met Lourdes last year on the Dragon's Back, and she came over from America to run, and we chatted on the race, particularly on the fifth day, and I told her all about the West Highland Way race and encouraged her to come one day. So just introduce yourself, please, and just tell us a little bit about why you wanted to take part in this challenge.
Okay. Hello. I am from the U.S., but I'm currently living in Calgary, Canada. And I actually had known about the West Highland Way and was ecstatic to talk about it because I'd been looking at it for about 5 years. And after meeting John, I really came home convinced I was going to put my name in. And unfortunately, after 7 years of trying, I finally got into UTMB for 2020. So that derailed my West Highland Way efforts because, you know, flying to Europe from over here several times a year is you know, kind of out of my fiscal range. And so I reached out to John and I was like, could I still put my name in 2021? And he said, of course. So, but I have been following this race for several years and have been part of the Facebook group, and just love everything about it. I like the sort of, I've been doing racing for over a decade now, trail, you know, and ultras, and I like the small feel, the old school feel of it, the family feel, and it's just, I feel like it's a great group to be part of.
Yeah. And so when you heard about the virtual race, was that something, you wanted to do it straight away, or did it take some convincing?
No, straight away.
Yeah.
I believe I sent you a video clip of me with a fake goblet.
Yes, that's right.
You put a goblet just as a hopeful finisher someday.
Yeah.
So, yes, as soon as I saw it, I knew. I've been trying to pick, you know, picked a few virtual races to do, most of them of, you know, smaller race directors that I felt like I was sort of maybe helping support a small business in some way, or doing what I could to help the ultra and the running community, and, you know, whichever, you know, however I could, whether it was just supporting or financially or just, you know, being a part of it, feeling like it's still there, you know.
Yeah. So the first 36 miles, you took 10 hours, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So just tell us about, just tell us how you did that, in the sense of, did you do big long runs or lots of smaller ones, or how did it work for you?
Well, it's been a mix. I've had a couple of long days in the mountains with a little bit more elevation than your previous guests, more about like 3,000 meters. And so those are more like, you know, hikes, and, you know, you eat a sandwich, you take some pictures. I've done a couple of, you know, 5-milers in the neighborhood as well, just to stretch the legs, but I'm definitely not in any rush.
Yeah. And has that been more miles than you would normally do? Have you had to increase to take part in this challenge?
No, not really. I actually probably have decreased some of the miles for what I normally do. But I had watched the interview you guys did about, you know, really being true, trying to be true to the 9 days. And so I want to enjoy it. You know, I want to get out to trails that I don't normally do as far. I do them for training. I don't do them for speed. I do them for their beauty and just to be in nature and to be outside, not so much to, you know, try to win anything.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got a question from John Curran, and he's saying spreadsheets or bits of paper for tracking times. So, Lourdes, are you someone who has a spreadsheet to keep your times and distances?
No, I have a 99-cent spiral notebook where I just write down. I'm definitely old school. I don't do Strava. I have a watch, but I don't download it to anything. I literally just check the time and the distance, And it was maybe 2 years ago that somebody taught me that I could actually check the elevation. So, you know, I know if I'm going up or if I'm going down. I mean, I can feel that. So I never was really too worried about it.
Yeah, yeah. How about you two guys? Are you old school, or do you have a spreadsheet?
I've got a spreadsheet that I'm making sure I've got the video off.
Yeah, we can hear.
I'm not in. Oh, yes, I am. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I've got a spreadsheet that I'm using just to track. I only got my my Sunto a few years ago. I held off for a long time because I was scared that I'd just get embedded in the minutiae of detail and stuff like that, and it's happened. So yeah, and I've got a little spreadsheet that, to be fair, I only record the distances and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's all in a spreadsheet just so I can add it up. And and I'm recording everything. If I walk to the shops, you know, that's a mile, and I'll put the right time in. But yeah, no, I've got it down to all of them, yeah. All of my little meanderings.
Yeah, and I know, Ian, you've got a spreadsheet which has every single run you've ever done in the whole of your life, haven't you?
I do. I've got a handwritten book of every run I've done in my life. But for this one, I'm a bit more old school because I'm recording them, uploading them to Strava, and then I'm just writing them down in the back of an envelope and trying to work out how you add hours, minutes, and seconds, which is sometimes a bit more tricky than just a straightforward. So I'm just doing it that way. But like Keith, I'm probably recording. Certainly today, I've been recording all of the walks I've gone out and all of the times I've been out to try and just make sure I get the distance clocked up.
Yeah, yeah. And Lourdes, have you got sort of planned out for the next few days how you're going to finish off this 95 miles? Have you got it all worked out what you're going to do?
Well, because I have been to Scotland and I love the lochs there, and so I've tried to find, in my first 3 days I picked Lake Minnewanka in Banff National Park, which is one of the most beautiful glacial lakes I believe we have in the area. And for the second section yesterday, I did a really nice run along our Calgary Reservoir, which is it's sort of for our drinking water, but it's a massive lake that's here in the area that has both pathway all the way around it and trails. So I did a little bit mix of that, so I'll be sending that along and posting some pictures. And I have yet to figure out my last leg, but the Highwood Pass, which is the highest highway elevation-wise in, I believe, in the world, has some beautiful lakes. So I'm thinking about maybe going out there and doing a couple hikes to send some pictures. Yeah. Just to show you guys that nice lakes. We have nice lochs too here.
Yeah. No, please do. It's lovely seeing pictures of I think the first night quite a few people went out at midnight on the Friday morning, and there was some beautiful pictures of sunrises as people had ran through the night. It was great. Yeah. Yeah. Keith, Ian, have you got a question for Lourdes that you'd like to ask?
I was going to ask you about the ultras that you've done before. What have your favourite ones been so far?
Some of my favorites. Actually, one of my favorites was the Trail de Citadels in France. It's in the Pyrenees. It's a short race, but the race director was quite generous, as I was pretty much last, almost cut off, because at the 5K, with 5K to go, a really big Frenchman told me I couldn't go, and I ripped off my bib and I gave it to him, and I was like, I came all the way to France. I'm going to keep going. It's 5 kilometers. And the sweeper stayed with me, and I finished, and I got to the bottom, and somebody had gotten hurt just on the very last maybe 100 meters. It was a steep decline, and so the sweeper stayed with him, and I came down, and the race director was down there, and he handed me the bib, and he's like, finished. And I gotta say, that's one of my favorites. I've done some pretty big name ones. I've done Western States, and I've done, I can't think of them now, but I've done quite a few. I've done the Bear in Utah, and most of them have been here, like sort of west coast, since I'm living in Canada. I've done a couple it's hard to say which have been my favorites because I kind of like them all. I gotta say, probably I like the smaller ones that I do that are like, you kind of show up. I've done a couple in Texas. I did one in Texas last year called the Cactus Rose, where it's a 25-mile loop, but it's completely self-supported. So there are no volunteers. You show up there may be 3 aid stations on the loop, there's water, and you have your own drop bag. So I kind of like things like that seem a little bit more old school, that, you kind of go out and you do them, and it isn't really so much about the competition or the time, it's just more about the experience and sort of the completion of you pushing yourself as hard as you can on the day.
I do remember last year on the Dragon's Back that you weren't a big fan of camping, were you?
No.
There was one video clip on the official film, and I think it's day 3, and you're setting off, and you're saying, "I didn't sleep, and I don't like camping."
Yeah, no, and Dragon's Back, I mean, of course, obviously one of my favorites. It was definitely pushing the boundaries of what I think physically I knew I could do. And the camping was something I never worried about. And then I fell apart. The camping was a nightmare. I was just not prepared. But to be fair, like I was coming into the camps with 45 minutes, from like I was the one doing the 14, 15-hour days. And the camping was just, I was not prepared for the camping. So
you made
I'm
it.
trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely made it by the skin of my teeth, but I mean, that's what I enjoy. To me, it's pushing like my years of being speedy are behind me. They were a long, long time ago, and I just enjoy going to new places, seeing new things, and experiencing different terrain. That's one of the things I really loved about Dragon's Back was every day was so different, and the culture, seeing a different. I feel like being in a country, you need to be in a country for several years. I've actually lived in Australia, and being able to be there and be in that culture and experience it the way they experience it, I feel is almost the best in nature. And so I've been really blessed in a lot of the different experiences that I've had.
Yeah. Great. Keith, did you have a question for Lourdes?
Just a comment, really.
Yeah.
Don't be coming to do the West Highland Way and thinking you're getting you get timed out. You bend. We burn your body on the side of the path. It used to be a lot more lenient, but we won't go into the reasons why. But no, if you're a second over, it's brutal.
Oh, don't worry. If it gets tight, somehow I'll push someone out of the way if I have to.
I guess my only question would you, if we were coming to Calgary, is there a local race in Calgary that people should sign up for?
Yes, we actually have one that's about 20 minutes from my house, and it's called Iron Legs. It's the Iron Legs 50 miler. It's part of the Alberta Ultra Series, and it's held in August every year. It's the first ultra I did when I moved here 10 years ago. And it's absolutely stunning. It has about 18,000 feet of gain. You're literally going up and down mountains for 15, 16 hours. And it's just one of the most beautiful and stunning technical races I think that I've ever done.
Oh, cool. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, we'll all have to go. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us tonight, and we wish you all the best for the rest of your virtual West Highland Way race. And we look forward to welcoming you to the real race one day. And it'd be lovely to have you, and I'm sure you will. It'll be, if you're asked what's your favourite race, you'll say straight away the West Highland Way race. So
I have no doubt.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay. Cheers.
Okay, I just thought it's 25, so we don't have to extend it longer than we were. But I just thought I'd ask you a couple of questions about the sort of organising of it. It seems to have gone fairly smoothly, doesn't it? I think people have understood what they have to do, and but maybe any questions that either of you have had about just how to put in their time and how it's working. Just while you're thinking, I did see Norma Bone had a little bit of a trouble putting their time in and then getting it saved. But I think most people have worked out how to do that now. You just have to edit as if you're entering the race again, and then just make sure you save it at the end. And if you've done it right, it goes immediately onto the board. But I noticed there's about 90 people or so who've not put a time in. So either they've not been able to do the challenge now, or they've not quite worked it out. But any comments, any things that you'd want to pass on, how to on the sort of admin side?
I think you've probably highlighted the main thing, John. I've probably had more questions come in about saving, but the fact everybody's now managed to do it once, I think that shouldn't be an issue anymore. And even though there were a few that didn't complete their time, I thought that was quite a good percentage of people who've done the first one. So I suspect that's just your folk who've entered and then haven't had a chance to finish, by and large. I'm pretty sure if the SI entries guys had seen anybody, they've got a record in the background of people are trying to enter and don't do it, so they'll tend to send an email and give them some help. So I think most of the people hopefully managed to get there. I think the only other question that's been asked a few times is just about whether you have to do them all within the sections, or whether you can do your time spread out. And we agreed earlier on that you could bank miles in effect, and I think we've been quite clear about that on Facebook and so on. So if you did more than 36 miles in the first section, that's okay, and you can just then include that towards your second section. But we don't want you getting ahead, was the answer.
Yeah.
Keith, was there anything from your side?
Yeah, no, I think that's it, Ian. And I guess just to people, don't suffer in silence. I mean, I saw somebody made a comment earlier on today, and they're obviously quite upset about not being able to put their time in. You know, we want to help. So yeah, you know, it'll work out. You know, nobody's going to DNF just because they couldn't click the right buttons, or it was behaving wonky on them. So yeah, just reach out and send us a message, either direct message to me, or you know, we'll get it sorted. And I guess for those people at the front end, we might have to do a little bit of looking at some background checks. Well, not background checks, but some results, because there's some nippy times at the front there. There's some really good times. And there's no way, we'll see how that develops over the next couple of days, though, you know?
Yeah.
There's also a few people, aren't there, who have, there's a few men who have entered as ladies, which is probably worth the sorting out. You usually get that. The one other thing I guess we've had a few questions on has been the merchandise, because I think it's been really popular and has sold out. But Adrian's waiting to see what the demand's like, and if there's enough demand, then he might look to get more T-shirts, but he's kind of keeping an eye on that at the moment. But I think we've pretty much sold out of the T-shirts and the buffs as well, which is great.
Yeah.
I guess one thing, people shouldn't forget to have their jelly baby at about 61 mile either. It's quite crucial. That'll help you push you to your finish, you know.
Yeah. I think for those of us who know the route well, it is quite fun, isn't it, to sort of work out where you are in the virtual race. You know, maybe for others who've not been on the route, but there was a couple of questions, or one question on the website, and someone wanted a map, and so I was able to point them out. There is actually a map on the race website, because people wanted to work out, and I've seen one or two pictures of people who've got it up on the wall, and they're marking where they are after each day, and all that just adds to the fun, doesn't it? And there was a question earlier, someone asking about did people feel emotional starting off in Mulgai in the can't find it now, in the here we go, John Cassidy, he'd said did anyone feel a wee bit emotional at the start, memories of Mulgai, and I think those of us who've been there several times, it brings back all the memories, doesn't it?
It's probably, for me, I don't think I'm going to get that until this Friday. I think it's going to really hit home this Friday, and it'll be, we're nearly all going to be finished by Friday, and I think that's going to be a really good thing, actually. I'm planning on going out and doing a Pentland Skyline on Friday afternoon, Friday evening. So hopefully that'll take me up to race finish start time, and that's my plan anyway. Just to be out running it at 1 o'clock on Saturday morning. That's probably when I'll have a good little think about things, you know.
Yeah. Just a comment here. Someone suggested put a post on Facebook asking who else wants a T-shirt to see the demand. I politely suggest as a pin post. So maybe that's an idea we could to find out. Someone saying they got their buff today, and I've seen 1 or 2 T-shirts of people on Facebook saying they've arrived and they're on the buffs. That's great. Someone else has said the amount raised for the charity at the start of the race was fantastic. The last figure I saw was over 7,000. Is that right, Ian? Do you know any more?
Yeah, I think that's the figure of what people have donated. We need to. There's a few different sources that money will go to the charity, and there'll be some of the profits from the race and the donations as well. And there's also been quite a number of people have set up their own Just Giving site for SAMH, and some people have donated directly to that. So we'll try and do our best to pull together a total, but I'm not sure it'll be an exact science. But it's been a great effort from people, the donations that have gone in, and I know SAMH as a charity are delighted with it. Not just for the money, which they're obviously very grateful for, but I think they see the type of event as being so tied in with what they do in terms of improving mental health and people's mental well-being. It's the kind of event that brings people together and makes them feel part of things. So that's been really, really good.
Yeah, yeah. If I could just mention this stage as well, that we've got our evening celebration on Saturday, and so 7 o'clock on this channel on our Facebook page, and we've got some great speakers lined up. Duncan Watson is going to share a little bit about the first race that was in 1985. We've got previous winners like James Stewart and Paul Giblin doing a little chat between them about things that their memories of the race. We've got Fiona and Neil who've both completed the race 15 times. So a real variety. We've got a quiz as well. So I'd encourage you to join us at 7 o'clock and be part of that. And that should be a fun evening as well, where we can just bring people together. I'll have done 26 miles hopefully on the Saturday, so and I'll still have 6 to go. I'm planning to go right till Sunday. Keith, you're saying you're going to finish by Friday, but
Friday, not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Maybe Saturday. It all depends on how much I do over the next couple of days with my son and stuff like that. So I'll see how it all pans out.
Yeah. How about you, Ian? You're going to go right till 12 o'clock on Sunday?
I'm hoping it'll not go quite to 12 o'clock. I think I might be still going on Sunday. Again, a bit like Keith, it'll depend. I'm on holiday on Friday because I always book the Friday, Monday, Tuesday of the race weekend off, and I've just decided to take these days anyway. So I've got a bit of a chance on Friday to do something, and Saturday as well beforehand. So see where it gets.
Yeah. Great. Well, I think that's pretty well everything I was wanting to cover. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say before we finish?
So thanks. So just good luck to everybody and keep the times coming in. Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. And again, I think everyone who's taken part, just thank you so much for supporting it. I think it has, it surprised us just how many people have wanted to do this, and it's certainly been really good. Just a couple of comments I'll just read out before we finish. Someone saying they're really looking forward to the Saturday night live session. I'm planning to do my final mile starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday, so we'll probably need a nap first because they'll have been up since 1 o'clock. Someone else said, I've loved seeing the old pictures on Instagram of the first race. Those guys were legends. And they were great, weren't they? I've not seen those photos before of Duncan and Bobby doing that first race, so they were great to see. And I'll bring those out on Saturday as well as we're chatting to Duncan. Okay, so I think we'll close there. So thank you very much, guys, and enjoy the rest of your virtual West Highland Way race. And I'll see you on Saturday. And thanks for everybody for watching, and enjoy the rest of your race.
Cheers.